Hello world, how are you all doing? Welcome to another stream with me, and today we also have something that we didn't have for a while, which is going to be an app review. And you can already see the app that we're going to review, but before we get to that, hi, how are you doing everybody? Welcome to the stream. So for me it's like 11 a.m. Now, and I've actually, I'm used to now sleeping quite late. Due to the Ramadan month that we had, and there all my sleeping cycle was broken. But I hope that this stream being at 11, you normally see I stand up even at 12 right now. I hope that waking up a little bit earlier is going to help me also in the future to wake up a little bit earlier. And so we are going to do another app review today. And I want to quickly talk about the app. So let's go to the App Store. If you're interested in the app, I have actually posted the link to the chat, so you can just click the link there. And also a shout out to Batuhan Karababa, who basically wrote this app. He's an indie developer who was also streaming on Twitch. So he does basically have some experience with streaming on Twitch. I think he was actually developing one other app that he was working on Twitch, and I was watching that, but I didn't see this app being developed, so this is new to me. As always, I have not downloaded, I have not started the app yet. Although you can see basically I have downloaded it. You can see it on my screen, and you can also see the other apps that we have reviewed in the past. But this is basically the app that we're going to test. And I don't want to look into this in detail, but if you want to check it out, make sure to check it out. And also, this is Batuhan's Twitter account, if you want to check that out, with the nice image of the, I don't remember the name of this, I don't know how to call it, of this event, but he's got this picture of that event definitely here. Maybe you can help me there, Batuhan, what the name was. Our place, right. That's basically something there. And it says that I don't follow because I'm not logged in here. Of course I follow Batuhan. But quickly, let's get to a quick shout out to reminding everybody that I'm writing a blog post regularly, and I'm writing currently on 2 or 3 at the same time. I don't know which one is gonna be finished first, but I'm planning to I'm trying to release one article every week or every 2 weeks. Currently, I'm more at 2 weeks because I'm getting close to releasing my app that I'm currently working on. So I'm not releasing articles that often right now. And also, if you're not following me on Twitter yet, follow me there. I'm Jihad there as well. We recently reached 1,000 followers, so it's already at 1,005. But yeah, if you want to follow me there, I'm always posting some tips and lately also some surveys. But for example, if Apple is bringing RCS to iMessage, for example, because Google basically said on Google I/O, please Apple also add it. And also some other things. For example, we were talking about throws versus result lately. And there's also something there, some interesting topic there, if you're interested in that. And lastly, my YouTube channel, if you want to check that out. Then I learned recently about 2 tools because I wanted to have some statistics for my app's lines of code. I wanted to see how many lines of code I have written in what time. And I'm currently, I'm also going to release an article on that, but I'm going to actually apply this today on the Open Focus Timer, and this is going to show us our coding statistics in our project. And also there is another tool called Citra, which does this for Swift specifically, which gives also how many SwiftUI views we have, or how many classes, enums, etc. So things like that. We're going to check that out later. And I added these actually to our summary of last time and the to-dos that we want to do there. But we're going to get to that right after the review. We're going to start with the review, and Batuhan is also around, so I don't want to waste any more time, and let's get to the review. So we're going to review Batuhan's app. And as always, we're going to walk through this document. So basically the order we're going to walk through is we're going to first have a look at the app icon, give some feedback there, then the video screenshots, this is a store page feedback, then the description, because why store page feedback? This app review is supposed to give you an idea of how people might actually find your app, and then the whole experience they have from seeing your app on the App Store to downloading it once, trying it out once, and then having their first impression. That's why it's called the First Impressions app review. And yes, I think part of first impression is the app icon and video and screenshots, mostly the first ones. And then some part of the description. We're not always going to go through all of that because that's not what all people read. I personally always also check before I download an app for the privacy section in the App Store, and I also check like where it's available. Is it available in all the languages and things like that? And does it support, for example, Mac OS as well? So I can use the same app there. Then the overall impression, and then we're going to get to the first app use. And here I'm going to have a look at these aspects. One is guidance. Is it intuitive? Empty states. Does it like tell me what to do next? And does it have interaction feedback? So everything I do, I know exactly what the app is currently doing right now. And then we're going to go to some feature exploration, but yeah, I was thinking about maybe ditching this part, but we're going to we're going to keep it this time. Because, yeah, we've been doing it always, and this is, I think, the 9th or 10th review, and I don't want to change it right now. But this app review might also make it a bit slimmer in the future. But yeah, you'll see what we're going to go through this, but in the end, we're going to have like a rating in 10 categories with 1 to 3 stars. And we're going to have a final value here, and I'm going to share that also on Twitter, for example, with a nice background image. But let's get started. So first step, we're going to check the store page, and I'm going to do everything on the phone so we have the same experience like a real user will have. And let me show you my phone here. Okay, so let's go to the App Store. So we have found your app, and the first thing I'm seeing is always the app icon. So when I look at the app icon, what do I have in my mind? So the first idea of that I have, the first impressions I have when I see the app icon is it's somehow related to a clock, because I see a clock in the middle. Feel free to roast the app as you want, because I really want to know the problems of the app. No worries, there's no reason to roast anything. It's all about just telling you the thoughts I have when I see your app and when I use it. And from there, like the learnings you will have, that's all about that. That's all that you will have to do yourself. I'm not going to rate anything. I'm just going to tell you what my experience was. And maybe in some places when I don't understand something, you can explain me what it's actually about, and then maybe I can give you some tips what might have helped to, for me at least, to understand it better. Okay, but the app icon, I see a clock. Then I see colorful rings, so it's giving me a feeling of that this is like fresh, and this is yeah, colorful for sure, and that the app might be related to some imagery maybe, because yeah, it's got so many colors in there. Yeah, that's more about, that's I think more or less about it, because it's also simple. It's kind of simple app icon, which I like, definitely. And the background is black, and being black, it really puts the focus on the colors. So the colors really stick out. And if that's on purpose, that's great. I don't really know what the app does, but I've read the title, of course, and we're going to rate the title together with the app icon. That says Wallpaper for Apple Watch. So I can already see it's related to the Apple Watch. And that's why there is a clock in the middle. That makes sense. Also, the circles around it, they kind of look like Apple Watch bands. And I don't know, this part here could be like the clock and the rest is the band or something like that. So from the side, looking at it from the side. So kind of have an Apple Watchy feeling, definitely. And one thing that just from my designer point of view, that I find not too, that distracts me a little bit, is that the circles do not have like the same distance from each other. Like the inner circle has some more distance to this one, and then about the same here, but then it gets less on the outside. And I don't know if that's on purpose, but like this gives me a feeling that this is not really balanced out well. And I personally, I care a lot about symmetry and things like that, so it's kind of yeah, just giving me a feeling that this is maybe not perfectly balanced out. I don't know. But maybe that's also on purpose. Maybe you want to give it that feeling that it's not that balanced out. I don't know. I have to drink some water here. Just a sec. Okay. So I see the subtitle also, Faces, Gallery, and iWatch Face. Okay, so reading the word iWatch here makes me feel uncomfortable as someone who's actually yeah, an Apple developer, and I know Apple products, and I'm a kind of an Apple fan also. So I hate to see the word iWatch, because that's like how people who don't know Apple well call the Apple Watch, and that's basically why I already think like, okay, I don't like this app, kinda. So that's like my feedback there. If I read iWatch, I already think, okay, this is probably not very professional, and but that's really only my feeling. So sorry for that. Maybe I'm a little special there, but yeah, reading iWatch, this is just the wrong term. This was like the how the Apple Watch was called by rumors before it really came out. So I guess that you put it like that because you didn't have enough space to put full Apple Watch. Yeah, I don't know how to fix that, but yeah, that's just my feedback. iWatch, I already think, okay, probably this is not someone who's really into the Apple world. I actually don't love iWatch as well, but it's for ASO purposes. If that works, I think that if you have hard numbers that this works, then of course I can't say anything. I just think like it's just wrong, and therefore I personally don't like it, but that's also something that I wouldn't care that much. Faces Gallery. What's a Faces Gallery? Okay, the first moment I thought about like real faces, like human faces. But now thinking about that, it's about Apple Watch. Of course, it's watch faces, I guess. So Faces Gallery, it means watch faces gallery. I get that. But the title, I think, is very clear, like wallpaper for Apple Watch. I'm guessing I can set up wallpapers for my Apple Watch with this app. But let's go, let's continue. Let's quickly summarize what we have here for the app icon. So colorful, colors stick out from black background. Then we have clearly about watch a clock. So I think it's pretty clear that this is about the watch. Could be improved is the distance between circles. Not symmetrical right now. Okay, let's continue with the video screenshots. Let's see now what we can see next. So when I was seeing this app, I wouldn't actually read the what's new because I'm used to this is only relevant to people who already have the app. Instead, I scroll down and now let's see the preview. Okay, I can see a lot of wallpapers examples. I can see you can somehow select, discover them. That was fast. Ah, I can edit text on them. Nice. I can make a face. Nice, nice. So we have like a face maker. That's cool. I can add like emojis. I really like the video already. It's really giving me a clear, like it's communicating to me clearly what this app is about. I think it's highlighting one of the main features, which is the editor, where you can, like after selecting a wallpaper, you can edit the wallpaper and make it yours. And that's really cool actually. And it really looks like it's very simple to use as well. We'll see, but very positive first impression on the video. I think the video really is killer. It really helps a lot to understand what the app is about. Really cool. Next we have this image, 100,000 plus unique faces. Oh, so many faces. So I wonder if that means I can do more than 100,000 because I have the editor with like, if you count emojis in and things like that. Or do we really have 100,000 images or prepared configurations or something like that? That's like what I'm wondering. But we'll see, I guess. So if you wanted to communicate here that you actually have 100,000 background imagery, that's not coming through. I'm not sure if this is because it's such a large number. I really guess more. I tend to more to think that you mean background image plus the change that I can make. So, and then I also asked myself, but it must be even more than 100,000 then, because I can like edit it any way I want. So maybe it's actually the photos, but I'm not sure. So maybe you want to make that clear if that's what you want to communicate here. What's also interesting is that you have so many watches here. And one thing I can see is that the corner is somehow not looking all right. So that like immediately catches my eye that somehow the corner is not right. So I'm sure you know already about that, and probably that's just something you couldn't fix really quickly. But I feel like this is the first Apple Watch shape, and then you have screenshots for the latest, and somehow they don't fit. Maybe that's the issue, but I don't know. Anyways, I think the template image at the background is the issue. Also, this is structured in a way that it looks like app icons. I don't know if that's on purpose, but the first moment when I saw this, I thought this is a screenshot of the home screen of the iPhone, and I'm seeing app icons here, like the list of app icons. And yeah, maybe that's, again, maybe that's on purpose. You want to make it look like that. But yeah, I think it's distracting or confusing because it's really ordered like app icons. And if you want people to understand that these are different watches and this is what watches look like, then you probably want to organize them just in a different way. For example, you could put like instead of putting them straight, you could put them like a little sideways or something like that. Or you just put less examples, and you can also cut some at the like if you make them bigger and you turn them around a little bit, you could also cut them at some point. You don't always have to show the full thing. And also because they're so small, I can't really see any of them. So yeah, I think if you show less here, less is more in this case, I guess, because it's just, again, looks like too much for me. Actually, I used to have 100,000 plus faces from some photo APIs, but then I've learned that it's illegal to sell wallpapers from APIs, so I changed to my own servers, so there are less right now. Okay, yeah, I mean, accuracy is also something you should maybe strive for, but yeah, the numbers, also 100,000 plus, it's such a large number. It sounds like I might not find the like, you don't really need that much. If you have 5,000, that's already amazing. Or even 500. Okay, anyways, make your own face. So I like how you basically highlight the main thing you want to communicate here, and then still have another font for the extra information. And I like that. It really puts me. I definitely read this. That's for sure. And then if I'm interested, I can continue reading. Make your own face. Build, customize, save. Okay, maybe too many colors here. So this is colorful. These have different colors. This is a different color. Okay, this kind of goes in line with these. I just noticed that. But because this has a white background and this is a dark background, I didn't notice that right away. So, and this is why, and the icons here are why. You maybe want to slim down the color usage here a little bit. Yeah, that just feels like a little bit too much, but also it does look nice. But I think this is somehow too much. Also, you have like a white shadow here around this thing, and all together this is a bit too much to me. But from the content, build, customize, save, nice. I don't understand the build, so customize, save. I think the main thing I see here is customize. Maybe you can just focus on that. Maybe you can just make this customize your own face or something like that. And I don't think you need these. They don't really give me any extra information. I'm expecting it to, that can definitely save the images anyways. I have no idea what this build means. So yeah, just focus on customize here, I would say. So premium watch. So I wouldn't really look into all these images. So premium watch wallpaper. This is clearly focused. I like that. But okay, premium watch wallpaper. So we have some premium ones as well. 1, choose on your phone. 2, set on Apple Watch. Okay, these are steps. I would say step 1 and step 2 maybe. I first thought this is like feature 1 or something like that. Feature 2, maybe that makes it more clear. And also here, this white background shadow could be kind of changed. And you don't have to show the full phone. You can absolutely make this even larger and just like cut some part at the bottom here, So you just move it further down when you make it larger. I always feel like you can show more content that way. Set on Apple Watch. That's not an Apple Watch. What is that? So if you want people to really use this and feel like this feels an Apple native, use the word Apple Watch everywhere, not iWatch, and really use Apple Watches. This is clearly not an Apple Watch. You can see that right away. I don't know where you got that from. But otherwise, I think that's pretty much it. I really like how you put things there. And number 1, watch wallpaper app. Cool. That's good to know. So yeah, I'm not going to give feedback on all the images because I would look into mostly the first 3, and maybe I would swipe through the rest and I would see like, okay, and that's what we have here as well. But I hope that this is going to be useful feedback. So overall, amazing, clear video preview, and this is the most important. Video has to be clear, and I think it really pretty much shows what the app does. So I'm not going to write down everything, but I'm just going to focus on the like app grid. App grid is kind of misleading. 1 second, I think it was the second screenshot. And on the third, too many colors, and info on third. Just focus on customizability. Cool. Let's get to the description. So when I would read the description, as always, I would first read what we can see here on the face, and it says, unlock the full potential of your Apple Watch. Personalize your Apple Watch face with brand new selection of our unique watch wallpapers and faces. So it clearly tries to communicate what this app does. I think it's pretty good. It's pretty on point. And if I want to know more, I can get here and see like, okay, number 1 Apple Watch app. This is quite bold. So is this really the number 1 Apple Watch app? I thought it's the number 1 Apple Watch wallpaper app. So you might want to be cautious there. Unlock the full potential of your Apple Watch with our unique, okay, number 1 Apple Watch faces application. You can choose different watch faces for different purposes. The gallery is updated regularly. Our watch faces are customizable. Key features. So I like all the text here you see. I just start the beginning, and if I'm interested, I could read on, but there's not much that keeps my attention. So I'm just going through this, and this looks like a list. So lists are things that I always read. Design, 1-click installation, detailed instructions, many face wallpapers, biggest exclusive collection, constant updates, special collection for holidays, easy to use browse collection. Okay, so this is, it kind of feels like repeated information. Some of that was already said before. I guess if you just had this list right at the start, it would already help as well. But it's also fine like it is right now. And I see also that this has a in-app purchase, so that's cool that you communicate that up front, which is, I think, nice. And yeah, it also like goes into how this works. I don't really need that, so I already, like, I'm an Apple phone user, and I already did some subscriptions, so I guess most people have, and I already know how that works. So this whole text I don't need. Maybe you want to do it anyways for like making sure that no one can complain because it's all written here. But Apple is pretty good in communicating everything like that already. And the privacy policy in terms of use, I also don't need that in the description. I cannot click them. Instead, when I need when I want to go to the privacy policy, I can just scroll down and click the learn more here. And that's or wait, this is the wrong button. Anyways, I'm just trying to say that developers privacy policy, here you go. So I can open that without any problems, but we're going to get into that. So that's my description feedback. It's pretty on point, but maybe some information not really needed here. It's just like these things are shown by Apple in other ways. And you maybe want to keep it shorter or highlight some other things. Actually, Apple wanted me to put them in description, in-app purchase info and private. Really? Into the description? Are you sure? Did they say like you should add them to your App Store page, or did they really say into the description? They rejected the app. That's interesting. Okay, it's the first time I hear that. I'm pretty sure that they're not doing it like for everything. Like if I go to Pokemon Go, for example, I don't think they have that in the description. Yeah, there's no link at all in the description. So I'm pretty sure that it's not really required. But I guess that okay. I guess that you just had some reviewer who maybe put it in the wrong way. So definitely it's not needed there. Maybe on the next update, just try removing it again, and maybe it will work because some other person will review that. So description, I think list makes it clear, easy to read. No need for privacy policy or other links. No need for subscription information. I mean, it's not bad to put these things in there, only maybe the links, because they're not clickable, it's not really useful. The subscription thing you can keep if you want. It's more like a rights or rights thing there, but it's not needed. People know that. And maybe you can put more like titles if you have sections. So maybe, for example, you could use uppercase titles plus description, like for sectioning your thing, because then I would always read the uppercase titles, and if I'm interested, I read the details, and that's also a way to put it. But the list is also fine if you don't want to go into too much detail there. Sometimes it's just not needed. But overall, it's fine. Don't judge it by the number of items I put here. I also don't know why they did it, because they accepted my other apps without it. Yeah, you definitely don't need that. And maybe you just had a bad reviewer in that specific situation. Just try removing it next time. Let's get to privacy now. Already there. So, and privacy, data used to track you, data linked to you, and not linked to you. So it basically has usage data, more or less. And that's not anonymous. It's linked to me. It's clear, and it's also used to track me. So it's absolutely clear that there is some tracking going on. It's just usage data, so that's probably not the worst thing to track. There are not other things that are being tracked here. Like when you look at the Facebook app, for example, it basically tracks everything. But yeah, still, this is tracking more than actually needed, because you can learn a lot from data not linked to me. The question is, why do you need the data linked to me? I haven't used the app yet, but just from judging, you're just providing some wallpapers. I don't really understand why you need data and why you need to track it to me. Maybe you have ads in there, we will see. But yeah, that's for the privacy itself. It's definitely something that could be improved. Is track data, but not linked to me to keep privacy. But that's of course your choice. I'm just writing down what I see. Then availability, we can see that it's available on iPhone, iPod, and Mac via M1. So basically it's an iOS application, and it's there. It's only available in English. I can't click the list there. So one thing that could be definitely improved is translate to more languages. And I think in this case, I can't put it as an improvable thing to support Mac or something, because it doesn't make any sense. And I'm not even sure if you should provide it on M1 Macs, because I'm guessing that this app doesn't really provide any value there. Although you might want to edit everything on the Mac, and then you want to save it to your photo library and then use it from your phone. Maybe you could do the configuration on the Mac, so maybe you want to keep it. It doesn't really hurt, but you can also consider, maybe if that doesn't work, if there is no workflow to save it on the Mac, maybe you just want to like put the checkbox to disabled, so you don't put it on the Mac. Okay, so overall impression, I would say overall the App Store page is pretty nice, but there's like room for improvement everywhere. On the app icon, maybe on this subtitle, there's room for improvement on the description. Oh, not on the video. The video is great. I really love the video. That's really amazing. It's really on point. But maybe on the screenshots, like I said. So overall, very positive. So very, like every aspect is at a good level, but also every aspect could be further improved. It's like but overall it's positive, and it's I think also good to have clear things that you can work on. It'll help you, I hope. So let's get to the app usage. So I'm going to start the app now for the first time, and let's see what impressions we will have. Okay, I see an Apple Watch, and it's asking me already for like if it can send me notifications. Then of course, for sure, I will click don't allow now, because the app didn't even have a chance to communicate to me why it needs to send me notifications. And it's a wallpaper app. I don't like, if it was a messaging app, I would say yes, but I'm 100% going to say no here. And I think many users will too, because they don't know why you need that, and they don't think that you need it, I think. So most users will say no just because you didn't put it into context. If there is a reason to send me notifications, definitely put that allowing things somewhere else. So I actually give you that. I think just 20% of people are going to say yes here, I guess. If you want to increase that, definitely put it somewhere else. But the all-in-one Apple Watch app, we create unique design watch faces that match your needs for all Apple Watch series. So I like that you show a preview of what these things look like. I really like that. It's absolutely on point, and I can just click Let's Start and guess that I will be in the app right away. Number one, Apple Watch wallpaper faces app. Really cool. And I like that this shines. The rounded corner here doesn't look all right to me, so maybe you want to round it even more, or maybe it's the algorithm that you're using. It doesn't look native for iOS. I don't know. I think it's a Flutter app, right? You're a Flutter developer. Maybe that's why. Maybe you can work around there, but it doesn't look like a native rounding to me. I don't know what exactly it is. Yeah, you might want to figure that out. Compare it with like other apps. But anyways, let's click that button. And I already saw that the click state looks kind of weird. It looks like the web from 1999, like the 90s, where the like there's shadows and shining and all of different things, and it kind of looks nice. It looks playful, but it doesn't look really professional. And you were talking about premium watch faces before, and premium, I'm expecting that it looks professional, and somehow it doesn't look professional in the click state. So I don't know if I can click here. Yeah, the click state here doesn't look professional. You can see that there's the border, and you can see also that the border is not rounded. It's actually a SwiftUI app. Oh, nice. If it's a SwiftUI app, then it should be easy to fix. I think you just have to change the corner radius then. But something is wrong with the corner radius. And you can see like you have to, I think, put the border first before you round the corner or something like that. You might also want to have to, you might want to need to use Z-stack or something like that. I don't know how to fix it. I don't remember. But you can see the border in the clicked state isn't right. I can see that the shine disappears or gets less when I'm on clicked state, but that's interesting. Let's have a look at the contents actually. And okay, one thing I already don't like is there was a Let's Start button, and I have not started. So I would expect from the screen before, from how it was put, saying Let's Start, that I can dig into the app, because Apple has, like, if you set up your phone, for example, they have this screen basically coming up first. It says like first welcome, and then it puts you into like something like this where you go through the different steps, and after that there is a screen where you have something like a Let's Start button. If you click that, then you come into the phone and you can start right away start using your phone, and it really reminded me of that. So I think people are going to expect when they click Let's Start that they're put right into your app and they can start right away. And so I would say probably you just don't need that screen at all, or you just put it after the onboarding. And otherwise you just skip this whole thing. I don't know, like the way you put it, it reminds me of that. And I really, it created the expectation when I click that button, I'm in the app. And that's something that's kind of, yeah, making me disappointed when I click that button. Yes, I also saw the problem with button highlighting problem, but forgot to fix it. It looks annoying. Yeah, don't worry that much. Okay, but like UI wise, this screen looks really nice. Background really perfect. It's an imagery. It's really dark, so I can see the foreground, and I can select these things. What kind of wallpapers do you like? Hard decision. So okay, so the options I have here are hard for me because I like some abstract things, some colorful things, some maybe not cool. I don't, or what do you mean by cool? There's a fire and it says cool. Why do you use a fire icon for cool? It just doesn't fit each other, I think. So do you mean by cool that it's trendy or something? I'm not sure about that. And also nature, this looks like more like sun, like summer or something like that to me. So maybe this icon can be changed to some forest or some tree. And also dark and light. This is like a lightning symbol and it says dark. Is it trying to provide a contrast there? It's like the opposite. And also here the opposite, you show fire for cool. Colorful, I guess this could be a rainbow or something. Abstract, this I think is kind of nice. That kind of makes sense. So some icons could change here, but let's just choose something. I'm going to choose abstract and cool. Let's continue. Choose your favorites. Oh. So I'm just going to choose my favorites here. I don't know. This one looks kind of nice. This one. That's about it. Maybe this, but yeah, not really. Oh, it's customizing the experience for me. If you have something like that, I think you should, I don't know what exactly this does. Cool is like flashy. Okay, maybe you should just put flashy. And for flashy, you could use the lightning symbol. Oh, thank you for following Alistair Holmes. Alistair Holmes. Is there someone called Alistair in Sherlock Holmes? Is that a known character? Welcome to the stream for sure. So you can customize the experience. If you have something like that, if this is really working nicely, I think you should just not make this skippable and you should require this, but maybe you just skip the first screen. You just start with this because people will click, they will give you some chance to like after the first impression with the video, I think that you have quite a chance that people are going to click through your onboarding anyways. And I think it's nice to have that. Just don't have that one screen before that creates the impression that I can start right away. I think then it's fine because it's looking like I can really click fast through it. It's just very few options. And you can also create your unique watch. So this is something that is nice, but maybe not needed as part of the onboarding walkthrough. So you don't need to really put this into the walkthrough. And I can see 2 skip buttons here as well. This is kind of weird. So I don't think this is needed as a walkthrough. I wish there was a character called Alistair in Sherlock Holmes. Nice app. Yeah, nice app for sure. This is not my app. This is an app that we're reviewing from Batuhan, who's also in the chat right now. So I would not show this screen. Instead, I would just use a call to action or some other way of onboarding to make sure users don't miss this. And remember, from the video on your app store, most people will already know that they have this option. So I already knew that. This is like not needed for me. And yeah, I would skip that in the screen. Instead, I would just show this elsewhere. We're going to discover this elsewhere. So I will just, I don't know what to click here. So this is also kind of weird because I want to just finish the walkthrough. I want to finish the onboarding. I don't know how to finish that. Either I have to test this feature. I don't want to do that right now. Or I have to click skip, but I don't want to skip. I want to complete. So maybe you want to add some finish after the previous screen. And also I can't go back. There is no way I can go back. So if I wanted to see again like the screen before, and I don't know how to go back. Maybe I tried clicking here, and I tried swiping, but both didn't work. So I would expect both to work, that I can somehow click here or swipe back to change my selection. Maybe I misclicked. Ah, Batuan, you know Alistair, nice. Okay, I'm going to click skip all now, and we get yet another screen. So this is I think this is too much for an app to show something. So you first have this welcome screen with launch, then you had the walkthrough, and now you have like a paywall. And yeah, I would say skip the first one completely. On the walkthrough, skip the last page, and first show your app's like value before showing the paywall, because the paywall, I just see it there right now. I know now there is something that I can buy. Maybe it also makes sense to show the paywall, but maybe not right after the walkthrough. So this is, I personally would have closed the app and uninstalled it right now, because I felt like, this is just putting too much on me. I don't know. So there is this risk. There's no back button, as you said. Yeah, back would be nice. So I'm gonna, okay, but it looks nice, by the way. So I like that you're having this scrolling thing, and maybe it's enough to have it on the paywall. Maybe you can skip you can maybe just ditch the first screen entirely, because you have something. I'm guessing you're reusing that component here anyways. But this is really looking nice. I really like also how you highlight the no limit, enhance. So I think this screen is pretty nice. Good work here. Okay, now we're in the app. So that was so many steps to get into the app. Almost 70% of purchases are from the first paywall I show right after the onboarding. Yeah, but the question is, isn't there for the people who are buying your app on that screen, do you think they will not buy it if you don't show it right away? Or put it differently, isn't there a chance to convince the same people who buy it there elsewhere to buy it? That's like the question. If you don't have much free content, they will buy it anyways when they find some nice image. And I can already see that there's a lot of pro content here. So I'm guessing they would have bought it anyways. But I don't have the numbers, so that's of course your choice to make. But I'm just rating from my first impression user view experience. But let's have a look at these things. So I can see I can scroll here, which is nice. I can scroll here as well, which is nice. I think this is pretty on point. So I just have these different sections. I don't quite understand what the personalization was for. Did it change the order inside these sections? Did it change the order of the sections themselves? What exactly did it do? That's like absolutely not clear to me. So what does that actually do? Maybe you want to communicate it that more. Let's go into one of these. Okay, so I get this screen. I can show the tutorial and nothing happens. So there might be a bug there. Now it works. So first time I tried to show tutorial, it didn't work. Maybe the click area was too small and I thought I clicked outside. I don't know, maybe that's the problem. I don't personalize many things for now, only notifications. Oh, it's for the notifications, but I said no anyways. So why did I have to personalize that then? Okay, anyways, so this is the tutorial. Add this watch face, create watch face, photo watch face. This looks a lot of steps. Is it really that complicated? And also that exit tutorial button is really small, so I expected some X here at the top right. Maybe you want to add that as well on top of the button at the bottom. And let's try adding this watch face. Okay, what does this exactly do? So it basically makes me, create watch face. Photos, that's why so many, okay. And that's cool. So this is the, watch app, I guess, the content there. And now I have, okay, I see now. Cool, that's pretty nice. So I think you had, I think it does make sense to have the show tutorial, because thanks to that, you exactly showed me what I would have to expect. Okay, so why was it scrolling? This is not interesting. Okay, some weird things going on here. First, I can see the tab bar at the bottom, but it doesn't have the background. This is really weird to me. It should either have the background or not be there at all. Also, I tried swiping this whole screen down, like from here with my finger, because maybe I just want to close it now, and it didn't work. And also when I first opened it, as you saw, it scrolled a bit up. So all three things are kind of weird to me, and I really don't know how to leave that now. Do I have to scroll somewhere? Do I have to save the watch face to leave this screen? Can I not cancel? So I think a cancel is missing here. Save. And I also can't save. And okay, I can leave that. How can I leave this screen? Oh, I'm in the create tab. Okay. So I have to go back. Ah. Yeah, you see, okay, this was definitely not clear to me. And it's also weird because when I click something here, I expect that I get a sheet that is showing up on as a full screen. I'm kind of confused of the navigation here. So this is, let's say, uncommon. This is not very common to have navigation like that, and therefore I was quite confused. So maybe you wanna just, instead of using create, can I select? Okay, also when I click here, nothing happens. So if you have a create, what happens if I restart the app and just go to create right away? Oh, you're showing this on every app start. Interesting. That probably works. So I can go to create right away, but when I click here, nothing happens. I want to select an image though. How do I select an image? Do I have to do it here? I don't know how to select an image. So it's kind of confusing to go right away to the create screen. So do I have to? And this really looks weird at the bottom here. Do I have to go to gallery again and use like this and then customize? Yeah, it seems like this is the only way to choose. FaceMaker is kind of buggy. Okay, I see. So one thing is, I would show this as a sheet on top. Or if you really want to make it like that, then when I click here, it should show me the gallery. So I would either focus on the FaceMaker or on the gallery, like making it the main screen, whatever you think makes more sense. Yeah, I feel like also what I'm missing is that I can save, like I have like multiple saved FaceMaker documents. So I'm thinking of this now. I think that's how I would develop this app. Is I would make this a document-based app, and each document represents one face, basically. And I can like edit these things. Okay, I'm seeing ads here, so we do have ads. And I can basically... Can I change something here? I first have to add a text. Okay, hi. I can move it around. I cannot change its size, and I don't know what happened. It just disappeared. Oh no, it's there. So I tried to pinch with 2 fingers, and it doesn't work. How can I change the size? Oh, okay, like that. So it was not clear to me that this is size. You maybe want to put an icon in front of it to make that more clear. That's okay. I can put text there. I have different options. Yeah, it's a nice selection as well. What's the point of this? It doesn't change anything. I guess that's only relevant when you have like longer text. Marking on it, you can change its size from the slide bar. Yeah, it's not, again, it's not clear. And pinch to zoom is also like, maybe you want to add that on top of the slide. I can add like something like that. So you have these, but can I not use my own emoji face here? So you might want to think about if that's possible. I don't know if that's possible, but it would be great if I could choose my own Animoji, not the pre-provided one, because I don't have this one set up for sure. It's not mine. And again, I was trying to scale that with pinch to zoom. And how can I remove one of these elements? Okay, I think it's not possible right now. You can use your own images. Yeah, okay, I'll be back right after the break. We're pausing it here and we'll see each other in 5 minutes. Be right back. Okay, back from the break. And just for those who don't know, you can play Pokemon actually in the chat. So if you just write !Pokécatch, you can catch some Pokemon. I just saw that I don't have any balls anymore. Any Pokeballs, so let's buy some. Ghastly escaped, oh no. Where's the shop? It's also really bad because this doesn't have a shop icon. So I really never know where the shop is. Ah, here's the shop, but I can't click on it. Now I can click, nice. Pokeballs, Great Ball. There you go. How many can I purchase? Oh, I can purchase quite a bit. I can purchase 20. Let's also get some Great Balls. Okay, I can only purchase one. Cool. Well, let's get back to the review. So we were at this screen and I was just trying to delete one of these and it was absolutely not clear. And you wrote in the chat, but Tuhan, I have to double tap to remove. And I just realized that it has a poor guidance. Yeah, at least the remove is definitely not clear. And one way that many apps are putting it, that's quite common, is that they put like a small line around the object. And on the top right, they put like a circle with an X on sign. And then it's clear, okay, if you click that button, you can delete it. So I have to double tap. I would never have known that I have to double tap and it's absolutely not clear. So you have to definitely show it somehow. For example, you could use this space to teach users about different things that they can do. For example, when each time I add an element, maybe you could show here quickly double tap to remove if you really want to keep it with double tap. But I would say definitely add like an X button or something for the selected one. So if I, for example, select, always make a selected one also. I don't know if you have a selection. So currently I can move around anything. And if you make it like when I click once, it selects it and you can see the selection with like a line around it and an X button there. You could also add like on the top left, you could add like a, let me show you that icon. Arrow top left, oh no, arrow resize, no, resize. Okay, I mean, basically this, but in both ways. You could use that icon for communicating that you can resize. And then you could make that when I click that and I swipe, it resizes, something like that. Yeah, that maybe put in a circle. I'm sure there's also one that's in a circle. This one or that one of the two. So if you put that icon, then I can like press and hold that icon to resize. That's also an option. But of course, you can also use these handles. I'm just giving you different options here. So this is the editor and I can't use the premium feature here. If I click, I'm guessing that I'm getting into this screen. Also, I noticed that because you said that most or 70% of your users are actually buying it from when you showed the first time, you're showing it also on every app start. And I'm guessing that if you removed it from the like onboarding experience, you would probably get long-term, you would get less bad reviews. But you would still probably have around the same numbers. That's just guessing though, so you have the numbers, you know better. But yeah, my personal feedback is it should definitely be considered to change that. Also, the main screen here, as I said, it's kind of confusing to have the gallery and the create. The navigation, I think, makes more sense if you have a document-based app and that's your main screen, like a list of all your documents somehow or a collection. And then when you press like create a new one, you get into the face maker directly, or you make them first choose from the gallery. And that's the way you could put it, or you could also just keep the gallery, and from the gallery it's just an easy way to create a new document, a new face, and then you have like your documents, your faces, or the other way around. And then when you go to the documents, you see a list of your documents. You can always open them, edit them, and you basically get into the face maker. And you can either explore from the gallery and create one, or you can get into there. You have the face maker and click here. If like if you created a new face maker, maybe you want to make it that first there is like a plus button here or something, or maybe somewhere else here. I don't know. Maybe somewhere here you just add a button to choose a background image. So that's like all the feedback I have here for now. And this is already also the first impression. So I think this is pretty much what I would do. And then I will close the app, and that's basically my first impression. So let's fill out the things here. So guidance, positive. Basically there is guidance for everything. Guidance for everything. So pretty positive. E.g. How to set up a watch face. Improvable, too much guidance, or too much like misleading first screen with let's start button makes me think no walkthrough. Then walkthrough last step is the face maker. Not really needed, because I can get into the face maker right away after that anyways. I think that's something that's not needed. Maybe you have a different approach. Maybe your approach is you want people to basically in your walkthrough use your face maker, save their first wallpaper, and then show your paywall, and that's basically why you do it that way. I can understand that. But I just want to put ask the question, like, is that really does that really make sense to put the main interface, which is the face maker, into your walkthrough so users never see how your app navigation actually is? So on their first start, they're learning, okay, that's the face maker and that's what I can do with this app. And then maybe they save the first wallpaper, and then they're done with your app. Maybe they don't open your app again anymore, and then maybe they open it 6 months later to create a new one, and then they are like, okay, why do I only see a gallery? Where's the face maker? I think it can be kind of confusing. So that's also why I wouldn't put it into the walkthrough, but that's for you to decide. Also the create like button, I see this is called the face maker. Maybe you should be more consistent with your words. If you use face maker here, why don't you just use it here as well? I think it's going to be much easier. And the builder icon kind of makes sense, but maybe you should just put like this shape here. Then it's going to be obvious. Okay, when I click there, I'm going to see this screen. Just use some shape like this. I think there is an SF symbol for that. So that's my feedback there. Empty states. So as far as empty states, there were no empty states here, so there was no need for empty states, I guess. Although when I open this, like when I restart the app and I just open this screen, yeah, this is basically an empty state. And I don't have any call to actions here, like how I should start or something like that. And I have to, like, I have to click these buttons. Otherwise, it's not clear what to do. Maybe you should put, again, a text here could be, could make sense, like click plus or add text to, or something like that to do something like a call to action kind of text here, maybe below this. Also, again, as I said, maybe you should make this add an option here to choose something from the gallery, from the face maker. I currently still don't know how to, maybe there is a way, but I don't know how to add something from the gallery right now if I go to the face maker right away. Okay, so empty states, none needed for most screens because there is no empty, but face maker could have a call to action text. Interaction feedback. So as I said already, the click state of the orange buttons has some corner radius problem. But other than that, interaction feedback was mostly given, except for, well, here the icon is missing. Icon for resize, let's put it here. Resize is missing for the slider in FaceMaker, and unclear how to delete an object added to FaceMaker. Interaction feedback, most interaction is intuitive, although resizing via pinch with fingers could be added, and that's about it. Okay, let's get to the app features exploration. So customizability, how can we customize things? Let's have a look at the settings here. So I can upgrade to premium, restore purchases. I can watch the tutorial again, how to add. Again, this the X button here could be like something improved. This is really weird to have to click this small text here. It sounds like a detailed information button, or looks like it. I can rate the app, I can share the app, I can email. So this is not, like, to me, this is not a setting. This is more an about page. There's not a single setting here. I can't change any setting. So maybe you want to reword that to call it an about page. But I would say customizability, I don't see much things as to how to customize the app. I also don't know what to customize, but we had in the onboarding, we had the oh, by the way, interaction feedback, no way to go back in onboarding and walk through. And we had this feature where we could personalize the gallery. I don't really still know what this does, and you said it just changes the notifications, but maybe you could add that here so I can re-personalize. Then it would actually be a setting. So I would say no settings at all, not even the personalization from the walkthrough. But absolutely, watch faces can be customized pretty well with own images plus texts. How easy is reporting bugs? So let's have a look. How can I report bugs? Email us, terms of use. I guess email us. Okay, yeah, I can email. It doesn't tell me though that this is about feedback, but it says support and privacy. Okay, so it is kinda. So we have a email address for feedback provided. But there's no more than that. So if I wanted to suggest features and things like that, there's no, I don't know, some forum or something like that where I could do that, which is fine, I think, for a small app like this. So I don't think that there's anything needs to be improved, and an email is fine. Maybe the wording could be changed. Instead of email us, send us feedback, for example, or send us your app ideas and widgets. So that's maybe something that could be changed, is change wording of email us to be more inviting to provide feedback. System integration. So do we have any widgets and things like that? So let me actually see and search for Boa, and no watch face widget, I mean. Although I'm not really sure what widget would make sense here, but there's definitely none provided. What else can we test for? We can check for content search, dark mode. Yeah, let's see. So this app is dark always, I'm guessing, because I am not in dark mode right now. Oops. button. Here we go. Yeah, so no dark mode provided here as well. It's basically always in dark mode. Let's put that. No light mode provided. Always in dark mode. No widgets. Maybe a widget could make sense for, but I'm guessing, yeah, no widget really needed for this app. Landscape. Don't think that landscape is needed, but it's not provided. Split mode. Yeah, that's for iPad for sure. So maybe light mode is something that's missing, otherwise I think it's fine. Accessibility, are dates properly formatted? Do the text scale? Well, we don't have any dates here, right? Although we do have the Friday 12/26 thing here. But that's just a preview of the watch. Do the text scale? So let's check for dynamic type here. Okay, let's go through accessibility. And of course, display size and text, larger text. Let's just make this that large. Let's make it even larger to make it absolutely clear if it resizes. So I have the feeling it did resize a bit, did it? Let me just go all the way down. Yeah, so these things here are resizing, but most of the screen is not resizing. Yeah. So this didn't resize. What about the gallery? Yeah, this screen does resize. So this looks like it's using native SwiftUI components, except for this thing at the top. So these are resizing, but most of the app is not resizing. Let's put it down like that. Yeah, but I think that's something to be improved. Most parts of the app don't support dynamic type. And let me check Voiceover as well. So can I navigate the app with Voiceover? Oh wait, let me just go into the app and do it right in the app. Okay. Just a sec, I think I have to select. Yeah, I have to make this show me, give me some sound. Okay, watch faces, premium quality, image. Okay, you can see it's not optimized for VoiceOver. It's marking these images and they are just decorative elements, so they should be hidden from VoiceOver. Free, see all. Can I click that? Crown fill image. It just said crown fill image. Image, crown, fill, image, crown, fill. Okay, I don't know what's going on there, but there's definitely, basically the app, I think it's just not optimized for VoiceOver at all. It's also just saying image. So there's no description for images. If you wanted to make this accessible, some description of the images would be nice as well, at least for some images. Let's go to the editor here. Friday, 12. Where am I now? Image. Ah. Yeah, you see it's definitely needs some optimization for VoiceOver. So, no support. Gorhan Baba, Cihat kolay gelsin. Selam Gorhan Baba. Aleykümselam. Teşekkür ederim. So, Batuhan, by the way, are you still around? I'm not sure because you're not writing lately. But that's my accessibility test and error handling. Can it handle quick interactions? Let's see what happens if I click multiple things really quickly. It does work. It's just showing, yep, I'm here, great. It's just showing ads in between, but yeah, that's definitely working, so didn't see any crashes. No crashes so far. Does it work offline? We could test that quickly. So if I'm offline, yeah, that's not really working. Okay, it does not work offline. That's interesting. Doesn't work in airplane mode. I'm guessing you're loading the list of names from Firebase or something. Is that the case? I didn't know that it was even using a web service. I thought it's all offline, but I guess it's not the case. Does it automatically refresh? Yeah, now it's loading. What happens if I make this very slow? So let's go to developer tools here. Where is it? It's at the bottom. Nope. I always forget where it was. Developer. Huh. Is it in general? Network. Looks like I have to reconnect my phone to Xcode. Let me just start Xcode quite quickly. Okay, this can take a while. Anyways, I'm not going to test it now, taking too long. But we have not seen any crashes, but it didn't work on airplane, so it is dependent on web data. So that's about my whole review, and now we're going to summarize it by basically rating all these different sections and putting it all together. Okay, let's get to accessibility. So let's keep that app open. Localization, non-provided, legibility, voiceover, dynamic, basically all of these things were not optimized for yet, so definitely 1 star here for now. And yeah, definitely room for improvement, and I think it's easy enough to improve for things like dynamic type. Then we have customization, so I can change a lot of things inside the app, which is the feature of the app, but the app itself, I cannot change anything in the settings related to notifications. Maybe that's also something you might want to provide some settings for. So if I have turned it on, that I can maybe choose what things I want to get notified by. App icon cannot be changed as well, so I didn't see any options there. The colors of the app itself, it's not very colorful actually, and the app icon was more colorful than the app itself, but also the app icon had black in the background, so I think that was fine. But customization, not really anything provided there. In the settings, also quite empty. I think that's also a thing that could be improved. Design, I think the design was really great. It's quite on point. It's really intuitive. It looks nice, and it's yeah, all around it's really good. The navigation, I already gave you some feedback for the navigation here. I think it's kind of confusing. The icons, also some icons were not optimal. So here I gave you feedback for, not here, where was it? I think these icons, by the way, they're fine. They're all great. So these are fine. Where was it that we had, I think somewhere, yeah, in the walkthrough. In the walkthrough, the icons could be improved. Consistency and platform fit, yeah, it does fit into the platform, except for the things that I said already. So the things that could be improved can be improved. I'm going 2 stars here. Feedback, so you can report bugs, you can request features with the email button, but you don't really know that it's about that, and you're also not inviting to give feedback really, so it's just like contact me or something like that. And that could use some improvement there in the wording, then I think it's fine. Onboarding, so store, guide, empty states, problem statement. For sure, the store, I think the store entry is one of the strongest points of this app. So the marketing part is pretty good. Although some things are duplicate information, but that's not that bad. Then the guide, I think it was overkill actually, as I said already, but it was definitely a lot of effort was put into that. And empty states, yeah, one empty state only that's missing. Problem statement, I think absolutely clear. The title of the app clearly says what this is about. I think the onboarding experience overall is good, but could need some improvements. So also 2 stars here. Privacy, data economy, transparency. So I actually forgot to check on the App Store the privacy policy itself. So let me check that as well. We clicked on it, but we didn't read through it. So this is the privacy policy. Watch wallpaper privacy policy. So I don't see the app's name here. Maybe that's also something you might want to change. Now a lot of large text. So without having read this, this is huge, large black text. And it's also like not well organized. So this is not very inviting to really read through. And it's relatively short though, but it's for me it's not readable because it's just bold and it's large text. It's also not using how is it called, where you can basically we're using the full width because but that's fine. I think we're missing some spacing in between and it's just too large and too fat. We just make it more smaller and just grayish, dark gray color or something. But it's just so much text, I really don't know. I can't skim through that and get any information. So that's also something that could be improved. I really don't know what data you're collecting. And I see Google and Play services, AdMob, Revenue Cat, which are fine. But one thing I definitely didn't like was that you were tracking personalized data, which I think is definitely something that I can't give more than 1 star basically for that. And it's also not very, like as I said, it's not very clear why you're collecting that data because this is not really inviting, and I won't read that text, and most people won't. So some improvements possible there as well. Reliability, performance, stability, bug-free, offline mode. We saw that it requires online. In offline mode, the screen was just empty. There was no retry button. There was no hint or something like that. That could also be improved. Performance otherwise was great. Stability is quite there. Bug-free, well, we did find 1 or 2 bugs, I think. Or was it the... I think it was the clickable area of a button. So I clicked outside of it and then it didn't do what I expected it to do. But I think it's pretty good, but some small improvements could be done. Simplicity, intuitive, focus, convenience. I think this is the part where the app really shines. It's really intuitive, it's really clear, except for navigation, which we have already discussed elsewhere. I think it's the platform fits, this one here, navigation, so the design can be improved, but the simplicity, I think it's absolutely there. It's absolutely clear what to do, and everything is really focused on creating the watch face and getting you there done, doing your job quickly. System integration, widgets, shortcuts, content search, yeah, basically nothing was provided there, and everything could be provided, especially what was it? Although we do have, I mean, it's using the API of creating watch faces. I think that's system integration as well, which is, I think, something we should also give some credit for, because for example, I didn't know that you even have that API to create watch faces through those screens that we had in the tutorial there, which is great. Value delivery, idea, concept, attention to detail. So I think the value is absolutely being delivered. I can create watch faces. I haven't tested them out actually, and I think I'm going to do that afterwards, but I think it's pretty on point as well. So the value delivery is absolutely there, and there were a lot of images to choose from. Excitement, interaction, feedback, graphics, sound effects. So this is like the extra category. I think I liked the overall the overall looks. I like this thing here. I didn't see much things added that are kind of exciting, like, I don't know, like some animations or something like that. Not much there. And sound effects I haven't tried out. Interaction, feedback. was kind of not pretty much on point, as I said, in the button field. But it all looks nice, and it has this video at the top, which is really creating a nice animation. So I think for that, I'm definitely going to give at least 2 stars, because that was some effort was put in there. And that brings us to an overall rating of 21 of 30 points. And yeah, that's more than 66%. So 2/3 done. And we can see some places, and you can see exactly where you could definitely improve things, which is in accessibility, customization, and privacy. And I think you should start there first, and then you can of course improve anything else you want to improve as well. So that's about it from me for the app review of the Boa app, and I hope it was useful. And as I say also here, this is yeah, this is not sponsored in any way, no promo code provided, just for everyone interested. But basically, this is just my opinions, and don't put them as too high of a value, and I hope it was useful. I have to go right now, but I'll definitely watch the video of the rest of the stream this evening. Thank you so much for a review. I just realized that I need better guidance for the app. Also solved the buggy watch face maker and button animations. I didn't expect that much detailed review, so I'm happy that you reviewed it. Yeah, sure, you're welcome, and I hope that it's going to help you improve the app, and it's going to improve for everybody then in the future. So thank you for taking part in this, and I'll be sharing, yeah, I'll be getting in contact with you later with the imagery that I want to provide as well, and this document also. But now we're going to get on, and let me actually disconnect this also. Let's get on with the open focus timer that we want to focus on again. Let me put that away. Okay, this was the review. And this is the summary of last stream, where we had created, where we have worked on the open focus timer part 19. And this is the summary of what we did last time. I'm not going to go through that. If you're interested, just read that through. One learning we had was that multiple windows groups are provided on iOS or iPad. Only the first one is shown if you provide multiple. And this is the to-dos that we wanted to do. So let me just copy that, and we just create a new summary document for open. Let's say a review of Boa plus open focus timer part 20. Already part 20, that's crazy. And these are the next steps. And one thing we've done is review the Boa app from Batuhan. So let's link these apps. So everyone who you just jumped in now, let me share the link in the chat. And here as well. So shout out to Batuhan, at Batuhan KRBB on Twitter. Make sure to follow him so you're always up to date with his latest apps. Great, so we're going to start, and I want to talk about lines of code statistics first. So this is something that I have wanted to know about my private apps. So I have learned about these two tools. I'm going to apply them now here as well. And it's really, really easy to do that. So first, what is lines of code? So if you don't know about lines of code, let me just go into our application here. And we're going to open the Xcode project. So as you can see, we have code here, and in our entire project, it might be interesting to see how many code lines, like this line, this line, this line, but not this line, but it does include this line. And I guess these are also considered code. This is an empty line. These are code lines, empty line. And there can also be, of course, comments. I don't know where we have comments. Let's just search for them. So for example, something like this is a comment line, this is a comment line, and there are tools that can basically collect and count them for us. And one very popular that supports not only Swift but many other languages as well is called Toke. And Toke, I know Japanese, and Toke basically is a Japanese word and just means clock as far as I know. And it's also okay, this is the kanji, I guess. And what does it link to, I wonder? Okay, this is, I'm guessing, just, yeah, a clock. So what time it is, and Tokay is a program that displays statistics about your code, and it looks somewhat like this. And actually the installation is quite straightforward. You just call brew install Tokay if you want to use that. And configuration, actually there is a Tokay, the toml, things like that you can create, but it's actually so easy to use that we don't really need that, because it does automatically ignore everything that's in your gitignore file. So anything, as you can say here, anything you already ignore, it's also going to ignore. So if you're ignoring your dependencies, you don't really need to configure Tokay at all. You can just run it in a path, and we're just going to do that and see what's going to happen. So let's just open the terminal in our applications folder, and I already have Tokay installed, so I just have to run Tokay, and I just pass it the path of the current directory. Let's see what happens. And that easy, it just counted all the code that we have in this project, just like this. You can see we have 8 JSON files, we have 1 markdown file, a shell, and we have 57 Swift files, and they come together at 3,400 lines total. Of those, 2,700 are code, and 140 are comments, and 500 are blanks. So it's basically showing us these 3 different sections, and these are the ones that I already talked about. We have a toml file, we have 2 YAML files. It shows us all together, and everything together we have written 3,300 lines of code and 160 lines of comments. I'm not counting the blank ones, but these together I think is basically the work that we have done in this project. And of course you can also do more things, like for example if you had some things you could exclude also specific kind of files, you could also exclude some directories, you can also use the configuration, but I think this works for this project. And actually maybe just running Tokay without a path, even that, basically that runs it in the same directory. So this is basically all we need to run to get statistics. Let's document that in our README. I think that's something useful to know. So this is the README, and we have getting started. Let's contributing. Let's go and say to get the current code of line statistics, install Tokay and run Tokay in the project folder. It's simple as that, and let's link to Tokay as well. I think we can really link to installation right away. brew install Tokay. Okay, that's Tokay. So we can see statistics there. But there's one more thing, and that's called sitrep. It's created by Two Straws. So it's from Paul Hudson, from the Swift community. And this is specifically a source code analyzer for Swift projects. So Tokay works for basically any language, and this is for Swift specifically. And you can see it counts classes, structs, enums, etc., etc. So it counts basically more than Tokay does. And you can see this is how you install it. And once you have installed it, you can basically run it with these commands, and there is a configuration file where you can exclude things. And we do want to actually create that configuration file. So create expects it to sit at .sitrep.yaml. And as always, we're going to create files that we can see here in Xcode. So I'm just going to create one. I'm just going to call it sitrep.yaml. Make it like this, exclude it. We have the build folder, the test folder. Let's see what other folders we might want to ignore. Let me show actually all hidden folders as well. So definitely Git, GitHub, although those are YAML files we might want to count, but we don't want to see anything in Git, anything in SwiftPM. So Git, SwiftPM. What else do we have? Everything else I think we can count. So I'm just going to keep everything else. And this is our sitrep configuration. And because it expects the file to be in a different place, we're going to create a symbolic link. That's how you create a symbolic link. You say where the target is, which is our sitrep.yaml file, and it expects it to be at .sitrep.yaml. So that's where the symbolic link will be. Now it should be able to pick it up, and at the same time we should be able to see it here, because we don't see hidden files here. Now when I run sitrep, that's it. It basically runs that command on our project. It found 57 files, 34 of them were structs, 7 classes, 15 enums, no protocols, 29 extensions, and the lines of code were 3,410, which goes in line with this, one line more somehow. Source lines of code 2,829. It looks like they're counting things differently. I'm guessing that comments and blanks are more accurate here because it's using Swift syntax parser. So I think this is a little more accurate than this, but there's not a huge difference, like 100 lines of code. Maybe that's actually comments, I don't know. Longest file is generate.swift file, longest type is the focus timer, and you can see what frameworks we're importing, which is also sometimes interesting to see. And you can see how many view controls we have, 0 of course, because we have a SwiftUI app, how many UIKit views we have, and how many SwiftUI views we have. So we have 9 views at the moment in this project, and we have some more statistics. That's basically sitrep. Let's document how to use that as well in our README. So to get the current offline statistic installed, okay, and run okay in the project. For more Swift, for more detailed Swift statistics, install sitrep. Let's also go to the installation section here, if there is one. There you go. Let's just copy this, or let's use that button here. And run sitrep in the project folder. So we have documented also how to get these statistics, and let's commit that. So we have this change is actually something that we were going to work on. We haven't completed that, but this is part of what we've changed, this and this. So set up our document. Code statistics. Nice, so that's already it for Tokay and sitrep, really easy to use, and you just get some information. I am currently looking for, if anybody knows has some help there. I actually asked on Twitter in this tweet if there is a way where you can basically see lines of code statistics over time. So I'd like to see how things are growing over time, so I can just learn from where I created most of the code. And just when I, for example, refactor, if it really reduces the code and how much impact it has, things like that. And I found some tools like git stats, git log, git stats with an underscore, repo stat, which is like a continuation of, I think, git stats or some other tool, but none of them is up to date. I failed to install all of them basically, and none of them really worked. And for each I had to install different things. For one I installed Ruby 2.6, for another I installed Python 3.8 and some other tools, and yeah, none of them really worked. So, and they're also, most of them are like 1 or 2 years ago lastly updated, some of them even a lot older. So if anybody knows a tool how I can do that, getting code statistics over time, please let me know. Just ping me on Twitter and just let me know how to do that, or just send me a link here in the chat. That would be really awesome. But now we're going to get back to our app. And let's quickly document that we have done these things. So we have applied Tokay and sitrep for lines of code stats. Next thing I actually learned in my private project is that we have a problem here, because in our project we are creating a lot of these warnings. So if I just go to the warning section here, if I just build the app, let's go for macOS first, where everything should still work. You're gonna notice that we have so many warnings that we have created ourselves. And the problem with this is that this adds a lot of clutter into our warnings, warnings page here, or pane here on this navigator. In the issue navigator, we're seeing so many warnings, and we basically miss any warnings that we get from Xcode. It's not clear which ones are from Xcode, which ones are ones that we have created ourselves. So what I have done in my private project is I just made sure that I prefix every warning I create myself with dev. And that way I could see here right away at the start of them that this is actually something that I have created myself. It's basically dev because it's created by the developer. You could also use something else here like custom or something like that. I also consider dev in big letters, maybe that's better. But yeah, let's skip with, or actually maybe I do like that better. Yeah, I don't know, it just has a little better look. Or we just stick with this, I don't know. Anyways, what I basically did in my private project is I created a custom lint rule that made sure that I always add this at the start of any warning I create myself. And not only that, that I basically show a warning for when I have a warning here that is showing a warning that I have created myself. And yeah, that's like a meta thing. And I might actually miss that as well if I don't have a git commit pre-hook, which I do have. But even better than just creating a warning with a linter, any lint supports autocorrection, and it's actually very simple to autocorrect this. So let's just write a custom lint rule and autocorrect that when needed. So I'm going to copy this now. So we're going to create a new custom lint rule. And how I do that is I always add my sample string here. So this is the sample string that I expect the linter to show a violation for, and this is one that I expected not to show a violation for. Let's actually shorten this to full bar or whatever. And with these in place, I should be able to write a regular expression that matches this, but doesn't match this. And I'm going to just say, when I see warning, opening brace, this, and then anything else but def. So I expect it to be def after this. And for that we have in regular expressions something called, let me search for it, regex lookaround. There's a feature called lookaround, and this is not the best slide. I think this might, oh wait, I think this has the best overview. So you can have lookarounds, and there's look ahead and look behind, and negative look ahead and negative look behind. Basically you can say, I'm expecting that, as it says here, assert that what immediately follows the current position in the string is foo or is not foo. And basically what we need to do in our case is we want to match only this, but not this. So we're going to say we want to have this, and then what immediately follows is not def and white space. And that's really easy to do because we can say negative look ahead, it's not this. So let me just copy that like this. And instead of foo, we're going to put like def here with a white space, but let's also escape these characters just to be sure they are not misunderstood. And there you go. We have now something that matches anything that doesn't start with def. And if it does start with def, it works. There's one more thing. I also want to cover that if I create something like this, for example, it should also match this. I wanted to report on this, but currently, as you can see, it does not report on this. And the reason for that, I don't quite understand. It should actually report. So are we doing in case sensitive? No, we are not passing I here, so it should actually be case sensitive. Yes, it is matching. So as you can see, it is now matching this, and it should match because we want to have exactly this. And I think that's nice. That's fine. So we can just use this regular expression. It's going to find all the places where we don't have what we need. But the issue is, if we want to autocorrect, we want to catch basically, we want to basically correct this as well. So when we autocorrect, yeah. But we're going to get to that later. Let's start with the simple part first. So let me open the project. Now we have our lint.swift file here, configured for any lint. I'm just going to create a new one that is going to check file contents, like the readme or license type one. Let's call it developer warning. So, developer warnings. Okay, we're going to continue that right after the break, so stay tuned and I'll be back in 5 minutes. Okay, let's continue. So we just created that regular expression. We were adding that to our lint or any lint. And we're just going to copy and paste this here. I think that's also easiest for everybody who wants to create an lint rule. Let's just add the name here. Let's just add a nice hint. Prepend dev to your custom warnings to differentiate them from Xcode warnings. Better. Okay, so here's the regular expression we're going to add. Let's just copy that. And let's also add some examples here. We don't really need the matching examples though, because we're going to provide an autocorrection, and the autocorrection, when you provide the before and after, this is basically already a matching example then, because if it doesn't match, then it reports an error. For the non-matching example, let's just provide the one here with the correct dev, like this, and let's use this style so we don't have to escape these things here. And then the autocorrect replacement, basically how we are going to replace that, we're going to figure that out in a second. Let's just add these two examples first. So this before example, and I expect it to be corrected to basically have dev in here. And same here with this one. When we find something like that. We expect it to be corrected to something like this. Cool, so this is what we expect before and after states to look like. We have the non-matching example that should not match. And we're searching for it, of course, not only in the README, we want to search for this in all. Okay, we are only doing README stuff here for now. So let's actually add Swift files. So let's search for Swift files anywhere. And maybe we should differentiate between test files and app files. So app Swift file. Going to write that in a sec, and we want to have test Swift file. And actually maybe we have like app Swift file and we have package Swift file as well. So app Swift file is anything that lies here, and so it's just one file for now, but let's put that as well. You can find it under so the start of a line is this. So we start with this, oops, like that. A white launcher appears. Okay. App Swift file, beginning of the line, and then we have app / anything .swift. and then end of line. And the same we're going to do with package, which is going to lie in sources / anything /.swift. And for test files, we have everything under tests / anything.swift. So these are the different Swift files we can have, and this one here, we're going to run for all of them. So app Swift file, package Swift file, and test Swift file. Cool, so this should already run, and we have not provided any autocorrection for it yet. So how can we autocorrect that? And to autocorrect that, basically what we want to do is we want to see, we're matching exactly this. And when we autocorrect, we want to, of course, again, provide this warning, opening brace, and also the apostrophe. So let's add one here. And then we wanted to always have the def here and a white space, right? This is basically what we want to provide. And whatever comes next after this is being like whatever comes after this. There's no match here right now. The problem with this is, you'll see in a second. Let's just try to run this. Let's just run any lint. So because I have not run any lint for a while, it has to fetch all the dependencies and build everything. Subsequent builds are going to be much faster. But I have already created, because this is always taking longer than needed, I have already created a task for me, for AnyLint, to actually speed this up even further. Oops, not this one, but basically this one, to improve the performance on subsequent runs by pre-compiling the executable. So instead of always running it as like a Swift package that Swift SH does, yeah, the idea is to just make sure that as long as the contents of the lint.swift file didn't change, to basically create an executable and just rerun this all the time. And that's something that I'm going to build into AnyLint at some point to make it even faster. But we have an issue here, and it's basically saying that we have one too much here. That's this one. So it was not building. Let's try again. Okay, now it's saying autocorrecting example for developer warnings did not result in expected output. The before state was this, the after state was this when it autocorrected, and you can see now we have dev and then dev again. So if I have any typo in this dev, it's basically going to have two devs, which is not what we want. Instead, we want to have this. And this basically is the issue we need to solve. So if we have something like this, we have to make sure that we also include this part in our matching string. And in order to do that, so we have to include basically this in the matching string. In order to do that, we're going to say, okay, either, basically we're going to say this one is provided here, but it should also match anything that is basically def. So it can find, oh, how should I put it? So it can find anything. So we want to basically say if it matches either D or D. Opening thing first, either E or E, either V or V, and then closing brace and one white space, or actually any number of white spaces. So now it matches also these, but we don't want it to match this exact right one, right? So how can we do that? We want to match it this, but not this. Also, we want to still match it, so this needs to get an exclamation mark. And now we don't want to match this. How can we do that? So we can say, I mean, it's just 3 letters. Maybe we could just provide all the possible wrong ones. So we want to say if you have, okay, we have to provide the opening and the closing. And then we can say either you have dev or dev or dev or dev or dev or dev. I think these should be pretty much all. Small starting, big starting, all small, all big. That should pretty much be it. So this should match all the wrong ones, optionally, but not match the right one. And now with this one, which is much more complicated than before, or much longer at least, now it should also autocorrect this correctly. Let's see if that works. And if I run it now, and I just want to know, so let's run help. If I want to run it and just validate that the matching examples, non-matching examples, and autocorrect examples work, I can just provide the option validate, so it doesn't actually run it in my project. And we can see it's validating it wrongly because there is a white space here that is being added. So there's one more thing we have wrong here. So we're matching up to here, but we're not matching this white space. We want to match that as well. So let's say any number of white space. Let's copy that. Now running Lint validate, and it's now validating properly. So now every expected changes are working as expected. Let's put this on staging. And this one is now one change we have made manually. And this is something we have not committed yet. So what I'm expecting, this one, let me actually stash this, or maybe not. We can ignore it now anyways. So I'm now going to run any lint, and it should now autocorrect it everywhere. So you can see we ran it, and it found developer warnings violations, 28 of them, and it autocorrected things like warning to warning dev. And it did it in 28 places. And now when we run our app, we should have the advantage that basically everywhere we are now having these dev prepended, and you can see it's done it everywhere, right? Here, there, like this. And the cool thing is now when we build our app and we go into our warnings, we will now get the dev prefix for all the ones we have created ourselves. And now we can immediately recognize the ones that are created elsewhere by Xcode. So we can see, for example, this one is not created by us, or it is actually created by us, but somehow our AnyLint tool didn't change these. So let's make sure that we fix this. So we have something wrong with this one here, I'm guessing. So we say it should go into app, but our folder is just called open focus timer. So that was the issue. Now when I run AnyLint again, should correct these ones as well. There you go, 3 more corrected. And I go back to that file. Yes, now we have the dev in front of them. Now again, running this, we'll make sure that all the ones that so you can, now I can see that this one actually is not created by us, it's created by Xcode. Oh, and it isn't. So we have something here because we are escaping. So let's add escaping support as well. Let's say here we have an escape toolbar like this, and it should match this as well. So how can we make this happen? Our warning, open, and then here we have this one as an optional. So simple as that. We have adjusted again. Lint.swift. Let's make sure that this is also covering that. Okay, so let's run AnyLint again. And let's actually add this as an expectation. So when we have one where there is this kind of thing, does this create a problem? Yes, we have to now double escape that. Then we expect this to be corrected to something like that. Okay, it's saying autocorrection doesn't work as expected. Oh, because when we autocorrect, this is missing, so we have to say, okay, let me go here. So you can see all the matching, all the match parts. And actually this is something that we're not matching. So let's match that in a catch group. So basically we say, catch this group, and whenever, and you can see this is the first catch group, and whenever there is a first catch group, we want to use that in the autocorrect replacement. So I'm just going to say here, warning, and I hear $1. So it's going to basically use whatever is caught here. And we have to add these here as well. Whatever is caught here, it's going to add it here, and this should make sure that we keep this sign if it's there. So let's rerun any lint. And there we go. It does work as expected, and now we should also have this one correctly replaced. Of course, it was like this. Let me rerun after the fix, and this should have correctly replaced it now. And again, building again. So we can see all the warnings that are, this is a warning from body crouch. Also maybe something we want to fix. Let's see what other warnings we're getting and which of them is going to be warnings of Xcode, but somehow warnings aren't shown. Let me clean build. Let me clean and build again, because I expect more warnings actually. There we go, one body crouch warning. Everything else is basically our own warnings. We have here one saying will never be executed. Yeah, kind of makes sense. We don't have any, we basically didn't implement this yet. So it's fine to have that. But as you can see, we only have this one warning from Xcode and one warning from body crouch. Everything else is our own warnings. And this is exactly what this red lint rule now helps us with, to recognize that much easier. So let's stage all these changes, and not this one. This is something we're going to work on later. Let me stage everything else. I'm expecting everything else stageable. Let's double check though. So only these things are changed. Just the def is added. Nice. So add custom lint rule to ensure custom warnings are differentiable from Xcode warnings. Custom warnings to ensure we can recognize Xcode warnings. Basically, that's the whole point here. And that's it. Let's push that and document it in the Notion document. Nice, we have done this here as well. And before we get right into this, I think it is time to basically stop this stream, because I'm ending basically like on Fridays. I'm having 2 streams. First one is till half past 1, which we're reaching now, and I'll be back 1 hour later. We have 2:30 with another stream, so we're going to continue this journey later, and I just need to have a lunch break. So everybody in the stream, thank you very much for watching. And just for those watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe on YouTube if you're not subscribed yet, and make sure to like this video down below. Everyone else will be seeing each other later, so make sure to join me later again. And yeah, I'll be back later. So see you at 2:30 in like an hour from now. Bye.